Welcome to the Backpacking and Blisters podcast. With me today is guest host Ben McAuliffe. He's a man with an inferiority complex, but he doesn't think it's a very good one.
I might have to listen to that a couple times to figure out what you're trying to say.
It's not that complicated. Not that complicated.
I think I'm pretty good, Carl. I think I'm pretty good.
Okay.
With me today is the one man who runs in the wrong direction on a single track, just so people notice him and talk to him, Carl Mandrioli.
What does that mean? Run the wrong direction on a single track, like on a single track trail?
Yeah.
Okay.
You talk about all the time. Okay. Whatever.
Do you have trails that are like one ways?
Well, I always think there's one way to run it, and maybe you don't, but I always feel like everyone's going one way. We had one in Minneapolis that you had to go one way in. It was around a lake, and if you went the wrong way, people would yell at you, like, throw you, shout insults, and so you gotta go one way. So,
I'm not that person. I will say that there's like a really popular trail here up in the foothills where you get a good view at the top of the mountain. There's like a fire lookout up there. But it's super crowded. It's like a highway, people. You have families out there. It's just, you're just pushing past people nonstop. And there was one time where I saw, it was like on a weekend too. There was a trail runner who was doing laps. Like he'd go to the top, it's like a mile and a half to the top, and then he'd go back. He's just going up and down on this crowded trail. And I almost was like, dude, get out of here. What are you doing? You're just like in people's way constantly. And so
you're saying he should probably not be running outdoors in this free area because it's
in an area that's packed with like families that are trying to hike and walk in like a known busy zone. Yes, I'm saying he should not have been there. Like not at all.
So okay. So if you're just
like doing laps, he's not just going up and down.
If it's crowded, if you're crowded, you're not allowed on the trail, guys. If it's crowded, just stay home. That's what I'm hearing you saying.
All right. Let's play it out a different way, Ben. You got your little kids. And there's like a sweaty dude who's like pushing past your kids. And you're like, okay. Hey, kids, watch out. Then, like a little bit later, the sweaty guy is coming back down. He's pushing past your kids again. Okay. Then a little bit later, he's going back up. Like, wouldn't you be annoyed by that?
Well, is he announcing like on your left or something? Or is he like just pushing past? I don't know. Okay. I sweat.
Okay. You'd be annoyed, trust me. Everyone's annoyed with that guy on the trail. And okay. Anyway, this episode is brought to us by Enlightened Equipment, our good friends over there. They have the best ultralight quilts on the market, and they're made in the great state of Minnesota. And right now, they still got their artist series going in the Revelation quilt, taking their products to the next level. Thank you so much for Enlightened Equipment. We love them over there. And they help bring us this episode. So this episode is all about, so it's kind of funny because Enlightened Equipment, it's like ultralight quilts, but now we're talking about like reasons why you should stop ultralight backpacking. So we'll have to kind of connect the dots here. But Ben, are you an ultralight backpacker?
I am not. I like, and you'll find out why on my reasons, but I like to just pack stuff. So it's good.
What does that mean? I like to pack.
Sorry, the dog just started barking. So I had to quick mute it. So hang on a second.
Gotcha.
For me. Yeah.
Conversation Ben and I had before recording was make sure the dog's put away so it's not barking on the podcast. And now it's barking on the podcast. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was totally like in the background. So if you hear a dog barking, that's our new puppy. You can count how many times it barks.
That's right. Yeah. Congratulations on the dog. And whatever strategy you're using for keeping the dog away is not working.
It's kids. Hey, kids, keep it quiet.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so you're not an ultralight backpacker, and I would describe myself as like I have ultralight gear or gear that I, that I legitimately bring, but I'm a sometimes ultralight backpacker. It just depends on the trip, depends on what the goals of the trip are, miles, difficulty, all that stuff. But typically, if it's a trip that I'm just going out there and I'm not hammering miles, I am not an ultralight backpacker, typically.
Right. Totally agree. Are you now, what do you consider ultralight? Like, is that under 10 pounds, under 20 pounds, or anything under whatever?
So you're talking about, you're talking about base weight, right?
Yeah.
And so,
just base weight.
We should define this for sure. But one of my trivia questions actually has to do with this. So I don't want to give it away. So it's going to be like, also, I'll talk about total pack weight. I would say that most ultralight backpackers typically, unless they have really long hikes where they're carrying a lot of food or they have water carriers or whatever. They're typically, their total pack weight's typically under 20 pounds. I'll say
Okay.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's what I would
Okay.
say too.
And sometimes a lot less than that. Just depends on the situation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All
All right.
Bible.
It's a fair
Bible
question.
verse. Yep.
Yeah.
Bible verse of the episode. Matthew 11:30. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Carl, would you consider Jesus the ultimate ultralight hiker?
Is Jesus the ultimate? Yeah. I mean, definitely like Jesus and the disciples, right? Like they're hiking around. I don't think they're carrying a whole lot of gear, and they have some skills. They definitely have some survival skills, like fishing and so on and so forth. And then you can always lean on miracles, I guess, if that's the case. But
what is miracle? I mean, they had miracles, yes, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of drinking water. Let's make some wine. Yeah. Like.
Well, but they had like food shortages, and then they had food abundance, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You only have to carry five loaves of bread with you, and
right. All right. What
five
would you
fish,
consider?
2
Do
loaves
you
of
agree
bread,
with that assessment?
Oh yeah, Jesus is totally ultralight. I mean, he didn't really carry anything, and when he sent the disciples out 2 by 2, he literally just said, "Just go out without anything. If no one accepts you in, then dust your shoes off and move on." Yeah, and move on to the next place. So
that's right. That's right.
Something we all learn from is our ultralight baggage can be taken away. So I like it.
True. Different purposes for backpacking and for what they were doing, though, for like missionary type trips. Different purposes, but yeah, I gotcha. Okay, so the ultralight backpacking, like this has been a trend since the 1990s, and this is not going away anytime soon. All right, so to kind of just start the conversation, do you think people should stop buying ultralight gear?
I don't think so. Saving weight is good. High quality products are good, but if you're buying the ultralight gear and it's like a bragging, like, oh, good, my pack weight's 20. Like, what's the point? I think saving poundage for for sleeping bags and tents can help a lot. Pack other things, but it all depends on what you're going for, what's behind it.
Right. Yeah, there's purpose behind it, but I still buy ultralight gear, like straight up. So I don't think we're not suggesting that is what I'm trying to say. Do you think people should have packs over 30 to 35 pounds in general for most trips?
Well, my pack's probably between 30 and 40. So I think I know you got some friends that carry a lot more weight and then some don't. We're all built differently, and depends on what you want to bring. I bring a couple extra things like some coffee and maybe some oat milk. But wait,
you bring oat milk?
Yeah. I'm making some good coffee on our trip, Trinity. Okay. So don't knock it, because I was gonna make some for you each morning. So
I appreciate the thought, but you're barking the wrong tree. I'm not a coffee guy. Sorry.
Oh gosh, wow, that's weird. Okay, well, someone else will get it. But yeah,
thanks for the thought, though. I appreciate that. It's nice of you.
Yeah. Well, the more coffee for me, so it works.
Yeah, there you go. Trying to think of the last time somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to bring a little bit extra to share with Carl." I mean, people have shared with me. Like, don't get me wrong, but like the intentional thought behind that's really nice. Appreciate that. So, okay. So you're saying yes, people should have packs in the 30 to 40 pound range. Like that's okay. That's appropriate.
If that's what I mean. Depending on what you're going for, how long you're going for, what you can carry, what's comfortable for you to carry, you should have a good weight base of, I think 30 to 40, 30, 35 is probably a good base weight. Wouldn't you agree? Or do you think that's too heavy?
Wait, are you saying base weight or total pack weight?
Total pack. Sorry. Total pack weight.
Okay.
Let's clarify.
Gotcha.
That.
Yeah, no, I would say that's 100% wrong in my opinion. I would say that you should be able to get, even with like multiple luxury items, you should be able to get your pack weight under 30 pounds. And we've had some guys bring a lot of luxury items and still have sub 30 pound packs. So we've done multiple episodes on how to do that. So we're not going to rehash that, but that's just my personal opinion. So if you want me to go through your pack on the next trip, man, I can start digging things out, start throwing them away. Like I'm happy to do that.
I have no doubt you're going to do that, whether I say yes or no. You're just going to start doing it. Let's weigh Ben's pack. Oh, the oat milk? We don't need that. Coffee? I definitely don't need that.
And this is the key. So there's so I buy the ultralight gear. I suggest going under 30 pounds, but I'm still not on the bandwagon of ultralight backpacking. Like, you got to be light as possible. Like, yeah. So, all right, let's get to it, man. What's your
All right.
number one reason, or what's on your list? Why should people not be ultralight backpackers? Why is what you're doing appropriate?
So with what you said, where there's ultralight gear is good, like that helps to get your pack weight down and all that. But at the same time, you can carry more gear if you have, more weight allowance, so if you have all your ultralight gear at 20 pounds, but you can carry 10 more pounds. So to me, stop doing ultralight because more gear equals more fun. So if I'm bringing coffee or I'm bringing some things, maybe you're sneaking in like a magician suit, you want to do some magic on the trail, Carl. You have weight now to put that into your pack, or a sword.
Right.
People have brought swords on the trail, so you have room. But I like more gear if we're doing more. I think the Trinity Alps trip, we've talked about that. We're going to be doing more of a camp in one spot, base camp. So I'll bring more gear if we're and more stuff if we're base camping. Boundary Waters canoe trip, we packed in a lot of weight because we had 4 days at one campsite. So, if that's what I'm doing, I'm bringing in more gear, fishing poles, and figuring out, what can we add to have some fun and mix it up, but also have some luxury items too.
Yeah. Your coffee. You keep on talking about the coffee thing, but that's a good example.
I gotta get some.
Yeah, I know you're excited. The coffee thing. You can have that before you go. You can have that like today.
Oh, I know. No, I'm so excited. My daughter ordered a espresso machine and it shows up tomorrow, and so she's actually at work. So I'll get to break it in tomorrow for her and figure out all the measurements and that.
So she ordered it. She paid for it. You're gonna use it first. People love those types of people, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally.
I just opened it and decided to use it before you did.
Oh, I didn't know it was your name on it. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So yeah, I think what you're saying is, if you have a bigger weight allowance, there's a lot more luxury items that you can bring to make the trip a lot more enjoyable. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. We bring, whether it's camping chairs, some people like to bring the chairs to sit on, or extra pair of shoes, extra pair of socks.
Like camp shoes.
Yeah. Camp shoes. Forget you guys like that.
Why is that funny? Why is camp shoes funny?
I don't know. People bring moccasins. Yeah. Anyways.
Moccasins. Oh my gosh.
We're going down rabbit holes.
Okay, so I think what you're saying,
yeah,
I get what you're saying. Your examples of bring a sword or a magician's costume, I don't think is resonating with everybody else out there, but I like that. I'd like to keep out the camp chair and camp shoes. Sure. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
More gear.
What's
yours?
So my first reason, is that even though things might be labeled as like lightweight or ultralight, there's certain things that just simply aren't. They're just going to be extras, and those are sleeping pads and pillows. Ooh. If you want a comfortable pad and pillow, like a really good one, then it's not going to be ultralight. So it doesn't matter if you have an ultralight pack. If you go ultralight with pads and maybe you're stuffing your clothes in a stuff sack to have a pillow, if you're getting bad sleep, like, you're not going to do well on the trail. So it doesn't matter that you're carrying a little bit of weight, because you're sleeping terribly. You're going to be tired every single day, and you're not going to be enjoying yourself. And so if you can't enjoy yourself out there, I just don't get the point. So I would say that specifically with sleeping pads and pillows, that's where you're going to want to invest in for that extra comfort, because there's not a lot of ultralight options that are also ultra comfortable. What do you think?
Have you had that where someone was like grumpy from not packing a pillow? It seems like it resonated. Like you had a hiking partner that just kind of got upset with you because they weren't sleeping or something. Yeah.
Like I got just baggage.
Miserable. Yeah.
It's probably me that's grumpy, because there's been circumstances where, especially in the early days, where it was like college guys going and like nobody had enough gear. So every extra piece of gear I'm lending out, including even to the point where I was lending out boots and things. And because I was so motivated for other people to have a good experience, sometimes I would give them stuff that was like my better stuff. And so then I was suffering as a result. So it's probably my own issues right there.
So do you bring like a bed pillow? Because that's what I'm toying with. Is I
really?
I have a special pillow for our bed, and it's like the best sleep ever with it. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of bringing a big pillow, but I also have a camp pillow.
You have a pillow that you call the special pillow.
Yeah. Yeah. We left one. We'd bring them to hotels, and we left one in Miami or Daytona Beach in Florida. So if you're ever at the Hilton in Daytona Beach and you have a good night's sleep, that's my pillow there.
Well, Hilton, dang, man, fancy. Where'd you
Oh
go?
yeah. Hilton.
I've never stayed in a Hilton before. I never stayed in one of those.
They have lower versions of the Hilton. It's not like you're at the
Okay.
Hilton, like the big one.
I feel
But
like when they
that's
call it the
yeah.
Hilton, it's the lowest version still higher than the Motel 6 that I stay in.
Oh, okay. Motel 6.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't bring the bed pillow, but I do have one that's large enough to probably be a bed pillow, but it's still it's like heavier than your typical backpacking pillow, but it's inflatable
Right.
still. So okay.
Okay. Oh,
All right. So
inflatable.
good sleep.
Nice.
Good sleep. That's my number one
Good
reason.
sleep.
What you got?
I agree with you. I got stop doing ultralight so you can slow down and enjoy the trip, taking more breaks, more reflection, noticing scenery. So this is kind of a stereo.
Slow down. It's gonna physically slow you down.
Yeah, literally. Heavy packs. If you guys really want to enjoy the trip, enjoy the scenery, pack your 50-pound pack. You can slow it down. You'll take more breaks on the uphill, enjoy the views and the company of everyone else. But no, and not just that, but I think it's a stereotype that if you're going ultralight, you're doing the through hikes, you're trying to put the miles on. So are you really enjoying what's around you? Are you really stopping and like, oh man, this is nice? Are you because I think ultralight, would you agree or not that like they're eating while they're walking, they're not taking the breaks, they're just kind of want to do the miles maybe more or less.
Yeah, the through hikers are for sure.
Yeah. And so for me, it's just like, pack more gear and you can slow down, enjoy the scenery
Okay.
and just kind of have some fun. You're out there, you're out in the outdoors to enjoy, not just a quick whip through and not see anything.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, what you're saying makes sense, but man, there's a lot of people that go ultralight and they're still not hammering miles. It's just that they're more comfortable on the trail, carrying less stuff. And so I think they could still enjoy themselves and go
Yeah.
ultralight. Do you not?
Well, that's why I went more of the stereotypical ultralighters where they're more just pounding through the miles, going fast, trying to set records.
Just trying to set records. Okay.
Personal records. I don't know world records.
Right.
But that's when I think of ultralight, I think that's to me that's what comes to mind is more doing
Okay.
that. So if you disagree, you can let me know.
I just
I'd
said
love
that.
to hear.
Or are you telling
Love
you're telling
to.
everyone else out there? I'm like,
Yeah, I'm talking about not to you, Carl. Not everyone's to you. I'm talking to the listeners.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Well,
all
I'll
about
say
you,
this.
Carl. It's all about you.
In support of your opinion there. So my buddy Rocky and I, we just did the Maroon Bells in Colorado, and we had backpacked it 8 years ago, and it took us, it's like a 3-day backpacking trip, and we managed to do it in 3.5 days. And so we really took our time, but it's a hard trail. And so anyway, 8 years later, Rocky and I, we trained all summer and we did it in a day. We did this a couple weeks
Oh
ago.
wow.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, man. So we were flying up and over the passes and we're passing backpackers. And I was jealous of the backpackers. I was like, I'm going too fast. I'm not enjoying this. I was enjoying hanging out with my buddy. I was enjoying climbing the passes and checking out the scenery, but we were going so fast, I couldn't really soak it in as much as when I was backpacking. So I agree with you.
Yeah. No,
I
mean, that's more my personal opinion. I like to if I'm out backpacking, I want to see the scenery and the views. That's what makes it fun. And hang out with the camaraderie. If you're just flying down the trail like you and Rocky, were you having a lot of conversation or were you guys more like, let's keep it going, let's pick it up, let's go?
No, I mean, on some of the climbs, like, he's coming from sea level, so he had a harder time acclimatizing. But no, we were still digging in, having good conversations. And we actually filmed it. And we actually, at the beginning of the trail, we're like, all right, what do we want to talk about? We kind of like listed off the big topics of the conversations we were going to have. So we made a point of being intentional about it. That's a good question.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. My second one, even though, so part of the ultralight philosophy is that there should be at least 2 uses for everything. Which sounds good because it sounds like you're being very efficient, but really there isn't. Okay. There's things where it's like first aid kits, toiletries, like you're going to find things that only have single uses. And hey, maybe that frustrates them. I don't know. But if you're solely focused on efficiency, you're going to miss out on some of the fun things. So you already mentioned bringing the luxury items, but some of the best items that I love to have on the trail, you mentioned the chair, they only have one use. And so if your criteria for should I bring this or not is, well, what else am I going to use it for besides sitting in? Then you're just, I don't know, like you're missing the point of going, man. Like you're making it about the gear, not about the experience.
Right. No, I like that. I mean, we talked about it too, but even the chair, like if it doesn't have another use, I'd probably try to find another use for it. Like maybe a shelter, if it's raining, I just put it on my head and start walking down the trail. Hopefully it's not lightning out and it's a conductor, but
Right.
I'd try to find a different use for it.
Dude,
'Cause
I would love it
yeah.
if you would do that on this next trip. If it does rain, if you could get your chair out and just hold it like an umbrella, that'd be amazing.
Well, I gotta get a chair. Now that's another thing I didn't even think about because I just don't, I didn't
No,
think of the
I got an
camping
extra chair, man.
thing.
I'll bring one for
Okay.
you just in the hopes that it rains and just in the hopes that you actually do that.
All right. How many of you guys at home, now I'm talking to the home folks, Carl, not you, think Carl's going to
Okay.
bring like a folding chair like you go on picnics with because it's edited weight and now he just wants to get my pack gear up and
Yeah, that's right.
right.
That's right. And not everybody's at
There's a
home, Ben.
10-pound
People are
chair.
driving right
I'm sorry.
now. They're on the
Yeah.
trail. Some people are actually grocery shopping with like weighted packs on, just FYI. So thank you to all of you.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So that was my second one. What's your last one? Last reason why people should stop going ultralight.
So I'll do them together. The third one I got is I don't do it, so you shouldn't, because it's all about me. So if I don't do it, you guys shouldn't do it either. And then the fourth one is I think this one is you're kind of isolating yourself, and maybe this is where my friends are. But I don't know anyone that really does ultralight. Like I have a lot of friends that backpack, but there's no one that's like all gear ultralight. I know you said it's a growing trend and still has been since the 90s, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it's a pretty small group of people that are doing like the true ultralights where it's like 20 pounds and they're going, maybe it's just the area where I'm at, but I don't see a lot of people doing ultralight.
Okay.
So does that make sense? Do you agree or not? Like it's a more smaller group. If you're looking to get into backpacking and stuff, like I think there's more for the typical backpacking than just the ultralight, and trying to find more advice on ultralight too is I think harder to get.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's interesting because you have the thru hikers, which are kind of their own culture, and they're not isolating themselves. They're typically hiking in packs, kind of the opposite. They have their trail families going on there. But most of the folks that are kind of like us, which are kind of, they're going out for the shorter trips. They don't have the structure in life to leave for 6 months and to abandon everything. There's not as many true ultralighters in that community. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to focus on, whatever, a sub 17-pound pack, and I'm going to be flying down the trail, you're right. You're probably isolated. That's a good call.
Yeah. I mean, even in just trying to find tips and stuff, I think it's a smaller family. Trying to get into those groups and trying to figure out what works for you, where, just doing regular backpacking, I think there's a lot more advice, opinions, and all that. So I think it's a good mix for me to just, stick with the regular backpacking and not do ultralight.
There might be some satisfaction in that though, now that I'm thinking about it, because getting back to the guy who's like running up and down the crowded trail.
Yeah.
He
was very satisfied that he was like creating everyone to be mad. Is that where you're going to
go? No, I don't think that was his motivation, but he was definitely making people mad for sure. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. Either way, like why would you do that? There's so many trails around here, and even in that area, there's a ton of trails. So why specifically do that? And so the thought behind that is because you like the attention. Like these people are going at a walking pace and you're flying by them. You're running like, wow, that guy's amazing, right? Like that's what he's thinking. Other people are thinking about him. So I wonder if that's true with the ultralighters, is like, if they go ultralight and they start flying by their backpackers, their satisfaction is people are probably impressed with what I'm doing.
Look at me. Yeah. We'll save that for when we do top 6 reasons why you should ultralight. That'll be my number 1, is like the attention. Look at me, guys. I'm flying by.
We'll probably have that episode too.
Next week, guys. Listen.
Oh my gosh. All right. My last reason is, okay, this one's like the closest and nearest to my heart, is people are going ultralight. They're typically ditching quite a few things. And a common thing to ditch is the stove, pot, and fuel canister. I think that if you're ditching that, you're missing out on so many levels. All right. I think this is like, people who do this, I think, either really appreciate cold food and don't care about hot food, which is a very small minority of people out there,
Yeah.
or they're part of this culture that views like food is fuel. Have you heard that culture? Like food is not to be
Yeah.
enjoyed; it's just like fuel.
Yeah, I do. I don't like that. I like to savor my food, eat it, cook
Okay,
food.
yeah,
Yeah, ditching the food canister, like, when you're cold and wet on the trail, there's nothing better than, like, a hot
right,
cup of cocoa, you know? I know you thought I'd say coffee, but cocoa actually hits the spot for those moments.
right, right.
But but, I mean, it's good, like, to have warm food, little comforts of home, it helps
Yeah,
a lot, but, yeah,
for sure.
yeah, if you're ditching all that and you're just, like, you're missing. I mean, maybe it's enjoyable, I don't know, like, are you like, "Look
No,
how
no,
miserable
no,
I
it's
am, it
not.
was great, I made myself miserable."
Okay, here's my question to you. This whole like food is fuel culture. Do you know
Yeah,
where else food is viewed this way, like across the world and or historically?
I don't.
The answer is
I really
nowhere.
like it.
Nobody views it
Okay,
that way.
okay,
Like obviously, food can be used as fuel and is an
yeah,
obvious source of fuel, but to say like I'm eating food for the sake of fuel and not for any enjoyment, I think like nobody believes that across the world. This is a weird cultural phenomenon. Like, I think food in most communities, if not all communities now and historically, food is meant to be enjoyed and frequently shared like within community, right?
yeah, right. I mean, I offered to share my food with you, you shot me down, but it's always gonna be there, and so
wait,
you're just
wait, what did you
contradicting
offer?
yourself.
The
I offered
coffee?
you coffee, yeah, and you shot it down.
That's not
I'll find
food.
something else. Okay, I'll bring us some steaks. We'll have steaks that no one else can have,
Steaks.
so
Oh my gosh. I'll say this. So like you're
yeah,
driving to this next trip, I'm flying, and so
yeah,
like you could freeze some steaks and cook them up over a campfire, and I couldn't do that without significant help. Like that's what's one advantage you've got
yeah.
for sure.
So I've toyed with the idea of bringing some frozen steaks,
Uh-huh.
but we're in bear country, and last time I did some steaks, we had a bear knocking on our door, literally. So, a little
Oh,
nervous about cooking some steak outdoors where you know the bears are, but you know,
okay.
I think we'll start
Mhm.
survive. So I'll probably bring it anyways because I like food is fuel and it makes me happy. So
All right,
yeah,
fair enough. So there you
yeah,
go. 6 reasons, maybe not all of them quite clearly spelled out, but 6 reasons to not be an ultralight backpacker. And again, we're not saying don't buy ultralight gear. We're just saying like it's okay to have a good time out on the trail and enjoy some things. So what do we miss or why are we wrong? Don't be shy. Just kind of lay into us. We are fine with that. Okay. I've got ultralight trivia for you, Ben. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, it's coming up right after this. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Roan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Roan uses rock solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. All right, so we've got Ultralight Trivia is brought to everybody by Teton, and we're actually going to be doing a Teton review here after the trivia. What are you reviewing again, Ben?
I'm reviewing the Teton Sport Ultra two-person tent. So I
Okay, so
got it,
backpacking tent.
and yeah, I like it. So we'll
All right, so
we'll go
we'll get
over
to
it
that.
right after the trivia.
Absolutely. All right, so you got to get 2 out of 3 to get this correct, and we still got to hash out punishments, but nobody's actually gotten trivia wrong yet, so it hasn't mattered yet. You still haven't even gotten a question wrong. Like all of my
I
questions,
know,
you've
I'm
literally gotten
nervous.
right. So
I've put a lot of
we'll
pressure on
see.
myself. I've been
I
studying
know.
random outdoor facts.
Okay, these are all multiple choice. Number 1, the ultralight movement began with a dude in the 1990s who suggested wearing backpacks without hip belts and bringing quilts instead of sleeping bags. What was his name? He you're laughing at this already. He's very well known in the backpacking
Okay.
genre. All right.
Yeah.
A. Ray Jardine. B. Brian Robinson. C. Andrew Skirka. Or D. B.A. Baracus.
Oh my gosh. I want to just go see. I don't know any of those guys. Like none of them sounded familiar. I
Okay.
thought you'd throw in like a president or something. But yeah, see?
President. So,
Who,
all right.
I
So
don't
you
know who that
don't
was.
recognize any of these names? What you're saying? None of them?
Yeah, none of them. I didn't. Yeah,
Okay.
I gotta go hard. Next time I'm going hard on my trivia. I'm gonna be like, hey, name the
This is not
Sherpa that
hard.
was the first one,
I
first one
literally
to go on
okay.
Mount Everest.
Oh my gosh. I gave you okay. So you don't have
All right.
your backpacking lore. I guess I didn't know how well you know your backpacking lore, and
I don't know
people
it.
are
Yeah.
again they're grinding their teeth at you, man. All right. So okay, DB Baracus is Mr. T from the A team, so he's
Okay.
a nonsense answer. And then B. Brian Robinson, he was the first guy to do the Triple Crown. So the 3 big long
Okay.
trails in the United States in a year. He was the first guy
Oh,
who did
okay.
that.
Triple. I gotcha. Hiker. I was thinking Triple Crown of like Kentucky Derby and all that, but no,
Yeah, because
different
that would
guy.
make sense for a
Different
podcast,
trophy.
right? Is to talk about the
Yeah.
Kentucky
Right.
Derby in the middle of trivia. I guess B.A.
Yeah.
Baracus makes sense either.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I forget you tell stories too in the middle of trivia, but yeah, it's okay. Hey, Carl, this one time I was driving down my.
Andrew Skirka is that was your answer. See, Andrew Skirka, he's like one of the most famous backpackers of all time because he's done like
Yeah.
all the long trails and he does them with incredible speed. And
Okay.
so
I got it
that was
right.
incorrect. The answer was
What?
A. Ray
Oh.
Jardine. So you got your first
Oh,
question
not the.
wrong.
Oh.
I'm excited.
Not
I'm fired
yeah,
up.
not the guy that was super fast. I was close though. At least I chose a backpacker.
You did. You did. All right. Number 2, ultralight backpackers typically seek a base weight of blank pounds or less. Okay, now I told you total
Yeah.
weight earlier in this episode, but I didn't give this away yet. So it's
Okay.
A, 10 pounds or less, B, 15, C, 20, or D, 6.
I think it's A. 10 pounds
10 pounds or
for the
less
base.
is
Yeah.
correct. He's
There we go.
back. He's back.
Woo. Yeah,
Okay.
don't throw names. Should we make a rule you can't throw names out? I mean, that seems kind of ridiculous.
Why can't we throw names out?
I'm doing it. Next trivia, there will be names. There will be names.
Okay, let's recap real quick. You've only gotten one question wrong total in all the trades we've ever done, and haven't have names. So now, because you got one question wrong, we're making a rule around it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep. So name a guy who started a sleeping bag company. Is it A, George Washington, B, LL Bean?
I gave you news you should know as a backpacking expert. You're hosting a backpacking podcast. You don't think you should be an expert on backpacking?
Well, I mean, backpacking and backpacking people are two different things. I mean, I think I'm pretty known in the backpacking world now.
Okay. All right. We'll circle back to that idea later. All right. You got to get this right to pass trivia. Number 3, which of the following items weighs the least? All right.
Yeah.
Which of the following weighs the least? A 2-pound dumbbell. B, a typical clarinet. C, a kid blankie from Amazon. D, 5 packages of chili mac with beef. Mountain House.
Is it the blankie? I feel like kids' blankets weigh pretty less. I don't know.
That's correct. How do you know that? How do you know this?
Well, I have kids, Carl. I had a blankie as a kid.
Okay. The
This
dumbbell
also
obviously
makes
weighs 2 pounds. The clarinet, I didn't realize it weighs so much, but 4.5 pounds. The blankie from Amazon, I guess, is super cheap. It's 13 ounces. And then 5 packages of chili mac with beef is like 1.5 pounds. So there you go.
Oh my
You
God,
passed.
5 of them.
You passed.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh. Okay.
All
Next
right,
time you
Ben.
make fun
Tell
of
us about
my
the
trivia.
Teton tent. What you got?
All right, so I did the Teton Sports Mountain Ultra 2-person tent. I loved it. You know, I'm not used to having small tents because we have a large family. I do have a small backpacking tent prior to this one, but this one was really nice. Easy to set up. I forget how long it took. I probably should time myself, but it was no time. I didn't follow directions. So, but I still figured it out. You know, still able to figure it out.
Did you take the oxygen absorber out of the tent?
I don't know. I never found one. So hopefully it's not stuck in there.
Right. I don't think it has one.
Yeah. And then it had really, what surprised me is it had, you put the rain fly over, and I don't know if a lot of these tents have them. Because I just get one tent. I don't go out and scope a whole bunch, but it had little like sticks that would pop up at the top and for ventilation. So your rain fly actually had like really good ventilation, which I liked. Like that was impressive because I hate having rain flies on because I like to sleep when it's cold, like 45 degrees is good temperature. And when you get the rain fly on, it kind of just gets humid in there and hot. So having the ventilation seemed like it would help a lot for that. And then it was roomy for 2-person. It's 80 inches by 60 inches by 45 inches tall. And I like the 80 inches because usually you get a 2 to 4-person tent, and me being about 6'1", my feet kind of hang off and dangle. And I hate hitting the edge because same thing, you get condensation. What happens when you hit the edge, Carl? All that water just falls on you. So I liked having that extra space.
It does if there's a lot of it. If it's like I don't know how heavy of a breather you are, but that's a lot of condensation if it's raining on you.
I'm a mouth breather. I don't know if that works or not. I'm not asking you to share a tent with me.
Okay. Not anymore. But that's usually, gross.
Yeah. I am your father.
Oh my gosh.
And then the last thing I loved about it was it had corner pockets for gear and had a little mesh shelf for that you can put in for above. So it had places to put stuff. The dislikes, this was a common one, the rainfly zipper. It was weird, and it's gonna be hard for me to describe, so you might just have to figure it out. But you either zip it all up together, or you can zip one up and then it stays attached at the bottom, and it's like this little, like, I mean, it felt like I was coming out of a womb or something. Like it was just tight, and you're trying to get in your tent, and like, it was there. So if you put both zippers up, it opens up fine. But if you don't, then it's just a pain. And then
a lot of rain flies are like that.
Yeah, and so that was just the dislike I had. And then the bottom of it's really thin fabric, and so I probably will get a footprint for it. Just because I do want to keep it. Yeah, I know, the big controversy, but would you? I mean, I know your tents are probably the same thing where it's thin, but I just worry about, like, I kind of rollers maybe move around a little bit and like rubbing with the rocks. I think I want to keep it nice. So it comes in at 7.2 pounds for weight. Which, depending on where you're at with weight, could be heavy, could be light. I like the weight because it is roomy. It does have that extra space. So for a backpacking trip where I'm just going to be in the tent, I got room to put my gear, my bear canisters that I'll have, all 4 of them. And then, because I got all the food and coffee in with me too. So,
well, that's like, I mean, it's a 2-person tent. It's not a solo tent. So you're talking about 3.6. Not that you can evenly split it, but 3.6 average per person if you're sharing the tent. Doesn't sound like you're going to share because you're breathing everywhere, but
I'll share if somebody needs to share. I'll throw it out to people that are listening. So, if anyone wants to share a tent, we can. But I was looking forward to having a solo tent to myself, or 2-person solo tent.
I'll share, but I really want to be myself. That sounds like a legit invite right there.
Yeah. Are you bringing a 1-person tent, or do you like a 2-person? Because I don't like 1-person. They're just too small for me. Like, I like kind of my gear and kind of move around a little bit.
Yeah, I've got the Nemo Hornet, and I've got I've got the 2-person, which is really like a 1.5. So it's sufficient for me. I don't know, like you're saying, I don't know that I'm going to go ultralight on this next trip, so I don't know if I'm bringing that one or not. But I do like the ability to kind of have a little bit of extra space, and so. Actually, I think it was Brian from Ohio, one of our Patreon guys. He's the one that convinced me to get that tent, and not just to get the 1-person, but to get the 2-person, which again is not really a 2-person. That's a 1.5. So
and he's not going ultralight because I think he's bringing in like an inflatable paddle board for this trip.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
I was trying to get you.
All right. So that was so thanks for doing the review, and we'll have that on our next trip, and so I'll get a chance to check it out and see kind of how it is in action for sure. Last thing that I've got is we've been starting to put out these weekly, I would call them like these kind of comedy skit episodes on YouTube, and some of them are getting some decent traction. Some of the comments on these like weekly YouTube episodes, they're just like a couple minutes long. Like, some of the comments are stinking hilarious. People have such good senses of humor. And so sometimes the comments are better than the videos themselves. And so I've just been really appreciating anybody who's checked those out and left a comment. So appreciate it. I will say that most people do get the humor and do get the sarcasm. So, for example, one that we put out a couple weeks ago was like going super duper extra ultralight, and it was
Oh
just like
yeah,
tearing
we
down
watched that.
everything.
It was hilarious. My kids
Yeah.
and whole family watched it together,
Well, I
and
appreciate that.
just yeah, I love it. You're hiking you're hiking at night, sleep into the day. You don't need sleeping
Right,
bag.
right.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
Here's what's funny about it though, is like, and some of the comments are just like they like mirror the sarcasm. But there's always somebody who doesn't understand the joke. And they're just like, I don't think those are good suggestions. And so I
You
don't know
call
how they
yourself
said
an
it.
expert?
Yeah, like, what are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? And so it's, I don't know. I've just been cracking up. So even if you don't watch the videos, you want to check out the comments. The comments are stinging hilarious. So
Oh god,
again, most people
nice.
have great sense of humor, but even the people that don't, like, they're entertaining as well. So anyway, thanks to anybody who's checked those out. I kind of pop like part of them on Instagram, and then I'll do like a shortened version on YouTube Shorts, but the full version where it's kind of got better video quality, that's just on YouTube. So that was my only tidbit. You got anything else?
I got nothing. I like it. We had
Okay.
the YouTube videos are good. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
I
All
think
right.
I'm in a
Appreciate your
couple
encouragement.
coming up. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. All right. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you. We hope you have an excellent week of adventure out there. God bless you, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
I want to